He doesn't get 50-50. He hasn't been around enough for that.
The atmosphere within the Brown household was denser than ever before. The laughter, the dinner times, the lengthy discussions that filled the evenings, all a thing of the past. Silence was the only thing left. A silence so dense it reverberated in every corner of the house. The family that had defined plural love was fractured, each wife being at a distinct place in her own reality. But amidst this silence, one would come that would shatter it all. Kody Brown's voice, not for leadership or love, but desperation. Christine sat across from him at the wooden dinner table, the same table where family gatherings once went on for hours. Now it was like a courtroom. Janelle stood in the kitchen, arms folded, eyes red but determined. Robin stood in the background by the stairs, tears already flowing down her face, while Mary stood by the door, half in and half out, wondering where she fit anymore. Kody's hands shook as he laid them on the table. His jaw was clenched, eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep. For years he had been the master of the story, the patriarch, the husband, the one who made the decisions. But now it was all eroding. Christine's soothing voice was piercing through his defenses in ways no one ever dared. "This isn't about anger anymore," Christine spoke softly. "It's about peace. I can't live in a world where love feels like a debt." Kody scoffed, his head shaking, his voice cracking between words. "Peace? You call this peace? You walked out on a covenant. You broke this family." Her eyes didn't waver. "No, Kody. You broke it when you stopped viewing us as people and began treating us like titles." The words struck like thunder. Janelle changed positions, her expression inscrutable but her silence eloquent. Robin wept softly, repeating, "Stop, both of you. This isn't doing any good." But Christine wasn't mad. She was finished. Finished explaining herself, finished waiting for him to get it. The patience had calcified into starkness. "You had 4 wives, Kody," she breathed, "and in some way, you managed to leave all of us feeling lonely." Kody stood up suddenly, the chair scraping the wooden floor with a harsh shriek. His voice was no longer commanding, but pleading. "I gave my life to this family. Every decision I made, every choice was for us. For you, for the kids, for the dream we created together." Janelle at last said something, her voice firm but cutting. "No, Kody. You created a dream for yourself, and you expected us to live within it." That silence once more, heavy, absolute. Christine gazed at him, truly gazed, and for the final time as the man she had once thought she knew. "You professed that love was forever," she whispered. "But you forgot that love minus kindness is nothing but control." Kody's eyes welled up with tears he would not allow to fall. He spun away, saying, "You don't know. None of you do. I was trying to keep it all from falling apart." "By holding us hostage," Christine replied, her voice shaking now, "in a life that was never ours." Janelle stepped slowly forward, dumping a folder onto the table. "Want to hold something together, Kody? Then confront what's in here." There were financial statements, the ones he had refused to talk about for months. Transfers, accounts, unexplained expenses, his secrets, at last revealed. Robin whispered in shock, her hand over her mouth. "What is that?" she stammered. Janelle's response was icily detached. Proof. Kody's anger turned to fear. His hand hovered above the folder, but he did not open it. "You rummaged through my stuff?" he growled, his eyes narrowing. "After everything I've done for you, this is how you thank me?" Christine stood up. "After everything we sacrificed for you, Kody, this is the truth we deserve." The rain beat against the windows harder outside, tapping away like a clock. Kody's breathing became more shallow. His voice was quieter now, but more menacing. "You think you're the victims," he said. "You all think I'm the bad guy. But someday you'll understand. I was the only one who was stuck trying." Janelle's response was swift. "Attempting to what, Kody? Control us? Silence us? Maintain your perfect image in front of the cameras while everything behind our backs was disintegrating?" He pounded his fist on the table. "You don't get to speak about sacrifice, Janelle. I bore this family. I bore all of you." "No," Christine broke in, voice shaking but unyielding. "You bore your pride, And for a long, awful moment, no one had anything to say. The clock ticked away. The rain pounded down. And Kody Brown, the husband who had once proclaimed himself the patriarch of love, knew that no one in that room was afraid of him anymore. At last, Christine edged the folder nearer to him. You can scream. You can point. You can even storm out. But the truth does not depart from this table. Kody's eyes darted between Christine, Janelle, and Robin. His voice dropped to a whisper, a mix of rage and sorrow. You'll regret this, he said. You all will. Christine tilted her head, a single tear running down her cheek. Maybe, but at least it'll be our regret, not your lie. And then, silence again. Kody turned, his hand gripping the back of his chair for balance. The storm outside raged harder, thunder shaking the walls. It felt symbolic, nature itself echoing the collapse of a man who once thought he controlled everything. He looked at Christine one last time. You'll miss me when the cameras are gone, he said bitterly. Christine didn't look away. No, Kody, we'll heal when the cameras are gone. He froze, her words slicing through his pride like glass. For a split second, his eyes softened, almost pleading, but it was gone just as fast. He grabbed his coat, his breath shallow, his voice low. I'm done here, he muttered. And as he turned toward the door, the family that once revolved around him didn't move to stop him. They merely stood by, did in silence, as Kody Brown, the man who used to build his universe around control, marched headlong into the tempest he fashioned. The front door slammed shut so violently that the windows shook. No one stirred for an instant. The patter of the rain outside was all that filled the silence, mixing with the distant echo of Kody's furious feet disappearing into the darkness. Christine's hands shook, but her face remained immobile. She gazed at the door, not out of fear, not out of sorrow, but out of wonder that after all these years, this was how it was going to end. Janelle was the first to stir. She went to the window, drawing back the curtain just far enough to watch as the silhouette of Kody's truck disappeared down the muddy road. He's really gone, she breathed. Christine didn't respond. She stood up slowly, retrieving the folder from the table, the one that held all the evidence, the figures, the secrets Kody had attempted to hide. Her voice was quiet but firm. We can't quit now. Robin, still sitting by the stairs, raised a red-eyed face, mascara smeared by tears. You don't understand, she stammered. He's breaking. You saw him. He's not the same man anymore. Christine turned to her. No, Robin, he's just the same man, and that's the problem. Robin's lips trembled. He loved us. All of us, Janelle intervened, voice quiet but cutting. He loved control, Robin. There's a difference. Robin gazed down, speechless. The truth was a burden that no one could longer deny. For so long, Kody had been the hub of everything, the force that kept the Browns together. But now that force had become poisonous, dragging everything with it. Christine unfolded the folder once more, laying the papers out across the table. Bank statements, wire transfers, LLC names, it was all there. We present this, she said. We present everything. The money, the lies, the manipulation. The world needs to see what truly occurred. Janelle slowly nodded. You think they'll even put it on TLC? Christine's gaze grew cold. If they don't, someone else will. Outside, the rain grew heavier, a drumbeat against the windows that mirrored the tempest raging in here. Christine retrieved her phone, reading through messages, her fingers lingering over one in particular, the number of the network producer who'd been in touch with her for weeks. They needed interviews, reactions, raw emotion. Now they were going to get it. While she typed, Robin's voice pierced the quiet once more, but softer and more fractured. You think this makes you right? That exposing everyone to what's personal will repair what's already damaged? Christine glared at Robin, weary, sympathetic, but firm. No, Robin, it won't repair it. But maybe it'll prevent him from shattering somebody else. Robin shook her head, holding a tissue. You have no idea what you're doing. Janelle leaned forward, meeting her eyes. We're not starting anything. We're ending it. For years, Kody had demanded loyalty, silence, unity, even when unity meant suffering. But now the silence was over. Christine could feel it, the weight of years lifting, replaced by something new, resolve. The camera light on the wall flashed, one of the tiny TLC cameras still mounted for production. It had been operating the whole time. The network had captured it all. The fight, the walkout, the truth. Christine gazed directly into the camera lens. For the first time, she didn't blink. "This is what it really looks like," she spoke quietly. "When love becomes control. When promises become chains." Her voice trembled, but she did not look away. "He believes walking away makes him the victim. But the truth? He walked away a long time ago." The first red light on the camera glowed, still rolling. Janelle put a soft hand on Christine's shoulder. "You don't have to do this alone anymore," she said. Christine nodded, her eyes shining. "I know. That's what terrifies him the most." The door creaked open once more, scaring everyone. But it wasn't Kody. It was Christine's daughter, Mykelti, soaked by the rain, carrying a folder in her hand. She was pale, serious. "Mom," she whispered, trembling. "You have to see this." Christine's heart sank. "What is it?" Mykelti looked around the room before putting down the folder on the table. "It's the lawyer." The court heard the hearing. "It's on." Robin stood up, panic flashing across her face. "A hearing? For what?" Janelle's voice was cold. "For the truth, Robin. Financial misconduct. The accounts he thought we'd never find." Christine opened the folder. Inside were printed emails, signed statements, and financial records from the family's shared business. Her hands shook as she read the first page. The dates matched. The transfers matched. "It was all real." Robin's voice cracked. "You're going to destroy him." Christine looked up slowly, meeting her gaze. "No, he already did that himself." The camera zoomed in on her face, soft, steady, full of pain but also purpose. Outside, thunder rumbled again, but this time Christine didn't flinch. The storm no longer scared her. It was just noise, like the years of yelling, the manipulation, the guilt. The truth was finally louder. Janelle gathered the papers and slipped them into a binder. "We'll bring this to court," she said. "No cameras, no spin. Just facts." Christine nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "And when it's over, I'll finally be free." The words hung in the air, heavy, final. Then, from the kitchen, the sound of a phone buzzing. Christine walked over and looked at the screen. A message from an unknown number. It read, "You don't know what you've done." She stared at it for a long moment, her heartbeat quickening. She didn't need to ask who it was from. Kody. The rain continued to pour, thunder rumbling once more, as if warning her that this wasn't over. Not yet. Christine locked the phone, turned it face down, and whispered to herself, "It's time he learns what consequences feel like." The room went dark, the storm outside, the truth within. And miles away, hunched in a black pickup on the outskirts of Coyote Pass, Kody Brown was alone. The light of his phone's screen reflected unread texts and open bank accounts. His own face stared back at him, a man brought low by his own hand. He spoke in a whisper to no one. "They think they've won. They don't even know what's coming," the thunder replied. The tale was far from done. The morning after the storm was like the aftermath of a war. The house was quiet but not serene. It was empty. Residual murmurs from last night's battle still hung in the air, attached to the walls like smoke that wouldn't dissipate. Christine sat at the kitchen table, her coffee untouched, the folder of papers still lying open in front of her. Each word, each number, each date, all evidence the family she'd once thought to exist on truth. Janelle came in quietly, her hair freshly wet from the shower, her expression tired and resolute. "He didn't come home," she announced bluntly, placing her phone on the counter. "Robin says he's at Coyote Pass." Christine's eyes never left the folder. "Sure he is. That land was his dream. Not ours." Janelle nodded, massaging her temples. "He keeps referring to it as his legacy." Christine uttered a small, bitter laugh. "A legacy of debt and broken promises." The door swung open, and Robin entered. Her face was white, her eyes puffy from weeping. She stood in the doorway, clutching her phone as a shield. "He's not okay," she whispered. "He's telling me things that frighten me." Christine finally raised her eyes, her face hard but not unkind. "You mean he's realizing he no longer gets to dictate the story?" Robin shook her head. "No, Christine. You don't understand. He's falling apart. He's talking about walking away from all of it, the land, the show, even us." Janelle folded her arms. "Maybe that isn't such a bad idea." Robin gave her a glare. "You don't really mean that. This family was his life." Christine rose, her chair scraping softly on the floor. "No, Robin. Control was his life. The family was just the justification." Robin's voice trembled. "You think you're the only ones who got hurt?" "He's a broken man." Christine's voice softened but carried an edge. "We're all broken, Robin. The difference is some of us are trying to heal." Silence again. Only the faint hum of the refrigerator filled the room. Then, from the corner of the table, Christine's phone buzzed. Another message. This time from an unknown number. She hesitated before opening it. "Meet me, alone, Coyote Pass." No name, but she didn't need one. Her stomach constricted. "It's him," Janelle scowled. "Don't go alone." Christine shut the folder, her gaze firm. "If this is how it ends, I want to hear it from him. Not through attorneys, not through cameras." Robin moved forward, frantic. "Christine, please. He's not himself." "He's angry." Christine met her eyes, calm and resolute. "He's always been angry, Robin. He just used love to hide it." Janelle grabbed her jacket. "If you're going, I'm going too." Christine nodded. "Fine. But let me talk first." Hours later, they reached Coyote Pass. It had ceased raining, but the earth remained slippery with mud. Wet dirt and danger filled the air. The plots of land that weren't completed lay before them, barren, bare, abandoned. Kody's truck sat close to the center. He stood next to it, his back to the horizon, hands stuffed deep into the pockets of his coat. The red ground underfoot resembled the residue of something that had burned out. Christine and Janelle walked cautiously towards him. He did not turn around. "Kody," Christine spoke softly. He let his breath out, visible in the frosty air. "You shouldn't have come." Janelle folded her arms. "You invited her." Kody at last turned, eyes empty but smoldering with something black. "I didn't ask for the two of you." Christine spoke in a measured voice. "We're not here to battle." He cursed. "No? Well then, what is this? Some victory tour? You put me on national television, and you want closure now?" Christine shook her head. "I don't want to win, Kody. I want peace." He moved a few steps nearer, his boots crunching on the gravel. "Peace? You don't achieve peace after what you've done. You made my family turn against me." Janelle's face hardened. "No, Kody. You managed that all on your own." He shook a shaking finger at her. "You think you're superior to me? You think because you caught me out in a few lies that you're saints now?" Christine's tone was unflinching, unshakable. "They weren't merely lies, Kody. They were lives, ours. And you toyed with them as if they were pawns on a board." He was silent for a moment. His shoulders slumped. His voice broke. "You have no concept of what it's like to see everyone slipping through your fingers, to realize you're losing command of everything you constructed." Christine moved closer, her gaze softening. "That's the point, Kody. You never constructed it with us. You constructed it on us." He glared at her, eyes glazed, jaw quivering. For once, he seemed small, human. "I gave you everything," he murmured. Christine shook her head. "You gave orders, Kody. That's not love." The word struck him like a body blow. He took a step back, his breath harsh. Janelle would have stretched out to grab him, but Christine stayed her with a small motion. He turned and gazed around at the empty land, the patches of ground that had been intended to be houses, hopes, futures. "This was to be ours," he grunted. "All of us, together." Christine's eyes followed his. "It might have been. If you hadn't turned it all into control." The gust of wind swept across the ground, kicking up dry dirt as it moved. Kody's hair whipped across his face as he gazed at the ground, his face crumpling into something between fury and sadness. "You're free now, huh?" he said at last. "You're a better person than me now because you walked away?" Christine met his eyes, unflinching. "No, Kody, it makes me honest." He turned sharply, pacing in frustration. "You'll regret this," he said, voice rising. "When the cameras are gone, when no one's watching, you'll wish you'd stayed." Christine's voice was barely a whisper, but it carried across the wind. "No, Kody, I'll wish you'd listened." The wind blew between them, through the vacant space where love had once resided. Janelle advanced a step. "This doesn't have to end this way," she whispered. Kody turned his back on them. "It already does." Then, without further comment, he went toward his truck. But before he opened the door, he stood still, turning sufficiently so that they could glimpse the agony in his eyes. "This wasn't ever my ending," he said. Christine glanced down. "Then perhaps you should have written another story." He got into his truck and shut the door. The motor churned to life, tires spinning mud out across the red earth. As he pulled away, Christine stood there motionless, her heart racing in her chest. Janelle touched her shoulder. "You all right?" Christine nodded slowly, her eyes far away. "He's keeping something from us." "I can sense it," Janelle scowled. "You mean the money?" Christine's voice turned cold. "No, it's something more. Something he didn't want us to see." The camera cut to her face, serene but firm, her eyes sparkling with the knowledge that this was far from over. The storm has passed, but the truth was just on the rise. The next few days were more subdued, but the tension had only become more oppressive. The repercussions of Kody's blow-up filtered throughout the family like wildfire. There were phone calls from TLC producers around the clock, clamoring for interviews, updates, reactions. But Christine wasn't ready to talk. Not yet. There was something more than the surface, something she could sense but not describe. She sat in her new home in Utah, sunlight pouring through the window. For the first time in years, there was peace, but not understanding. Her phone vibrated again with another text from Janelle. "He's trying to sell Coyote Pass." Christine's breath caught. "He wouldn't," she said under her breath. But even she didn't think she believed her own voice. She called Janelle right away. "What do you mean?" Janelle's voice was strained. "I just hung up the phone with a realtor. They told me Kody's had conversations about putting part of the land on the market. He's calling it a personal liquidation." Christine slid into her chair. "That land was to be for the family, all of us." "Right," Janelle said resentfully. "But Kody's revising history again." As they spoke, Christine's mind spun. The land wasn't symbolic, it was monetary. If Kody was selling it without their permission, it wasn't just a betrayal. It was a scam. That day, Christine returned to Flagstaff. She hadn't intended to go back so soon, but she needed answers. As she arrived at the desolate stretch of Coyote Pass, the wind was biting and chilly. Kody's truck remained parked in the same position as before. He stood close to the survey markers, pacing while holding his phone to his ear. His voice could be heard over the field. "I don't care what the rest of them say. It's my name on the forms." Christine approached him, her anger masking beneath her calm. "Actually," she said loudly, "it's our names." Kody stopped. The color left his face. "What do you want here?" "I might ask you the same," she said. "Selling the property behind our backs? Even for you, that's low." He shifted to confront her, his eyes icy and defensive. "It's not behind your backs. I'm making a decision that needs to be made. The family's done. The dream's done. There's no use keeping land that's just sitting here dusting." Christine's voice trembled, not with fear but with anger. "That ground isn't dirt, Kody. That's promises. That's years of hardship. You led us to think it meant something." Kody's face set in a hard line. "I believed until you destroyed everything." "Me?" she retorted. "You were the one who deceived us about the money. The one who created hidden accounts. The one who turned a family into a company." He stepped towards her, his voice lowering. "You don't have any idea what it's like to have everyone turn against you. You and Janelle tainted everything. Robin's the only one who remained faithful." Christine laughed, the sound sharp with venom. Faithful or compliant? Kody's face reddened. You think you're superior to her? You left, Christine. You destroyed the family. She moved a step closer, her gaze unblinking. No, Kody. You broke it the day you made love conditional. You used loyalty as a weapon, and now you're just trying to cash in the leftovers. They stood there for a moment. Two people who once swore on an eternity, now hardly able to breathe the same air. The silence was broken by the noise of tires crushing gravel. Janelle's vehicle arrived. She got out, clutched a manila folder. You might change your mind about selling that, Kody, she said, her tone frosty. Kody's brow furrowed. What is that? Janelle gave him the folder. The court's temporary restraining order. You can't sell anything under the family LLC until the investigation is complete. Kody tore the folder open and read the paper. He paled. You took it to court? Janelle folded her arms. We went for the truth. You can't just move money around and make it family business. Kody's voice cracked with rage. You think this is going to stop me? You think some judge is going to dictate to me how I'm going to live my life? Christine intervened softly. No, Kody, but they can demonstrate to the world what you've turned into. He glared at her, his chest pumping. You two heroes thinking you're so great, fighting for justice, for truth, for the sister wives you left behind. But you don't get it. You're just as selfish as me. Janelle's voice was softer, but it was sharp. The difference is, we acknowledge it. You don't. Kody stared at them, his expression flickering between rage and despair. He looked like a man losing everything, not just land, but identity. Go ahead, he said finally, his tone bitter. Drag my name through the mud. Take it all. I'll rebuild without you. Christine shook her head slowly. You can't rebuild something that was never real. The wind picked up, carrying the faint sound of thunder in the distance. Kody turned away, his shoulders shaking as he muttered, You'll regret this, Christine. You'll regret all of it. Janelle took Christine's hand, guiding her back toward the car. But as they walked, Christine glanced over her shoulder one last time. Kody stood there still, gazing out at the land, holding on to the papers like they were his only lifeline. Red dirt beneath his feet churned in the wind, as if trying to bring him back into it. Let him go, Janelle whispered. He's already lost. But Christine couldn't help but feel a sense of unease building within her. Kody's fury wasn't being extinguished, it was being rewritten. As they returned to the car, Christine's phone vibrated once more. Another unknown number, another message. You think this is finished? You have no idea what I still have. Her gut fell. She displayed the screen for Janelle. Janelle scowled. He's bluffing. Christine gazed out at the storm clouds rolling over Coyote Pass. No, she breathed. He's warning us. The first raindrop landed on the windshield. Then another one. The storm was returning. And this time, Christine knew it wasn't about the weather. The truth wasn't finished yet. It was going to reveal everything. The storm struck that evening. Rain lashed at the windows of Christine's Utah home, thunder booming in the distance like a portent. She was by herself in her living room, lights dimmed, fire hissing softly. Across from her on the coffee table the folder rested, the very one that began it all. The bank statements, the secret accounts, the evidence of treachery. But this time there was something new within. A letter. Christine stood still for a moment before tearing it open. The writing was unmistakable, angular, uneven, seething. Kody's. She opened the paper laboriously, the words scratched out in thick letters. You think you've won? You think you've uncovered me? But there's more you don't know. More that was never yours to discover. I fought to keep this family intact while you all ravaged it. When you leave something holy behind, it doesn't set you free. It curses you. And when the truth is finally revealed, remember this. You brought it on yourselves. Christine's hands trembled a bit as she read it, not out of fear, but because she knew what it was. Desperation. Kody's last-ditch effort to manipulate a narrative that had already gotten beyond him. Her phone rang again. Another text from Janelle. He failed to appear at the hearing. Christine slowly exhaled, her breath quivering. She glanced back at the letter. Of course he didn't, she said softly. He never comes to face what he causes. A few moments later, the lights of Janelle's car flashed through the rain outside. Christine got up and went to the door, flinging it open before her friend could even ring. Janelle drenched, clutching a miniature flash drive. "Christine, you have to see this." Christine's brow furrowed. "What is it?" Janelle edged in, her tone lowered. "The accountant mailed it. It's everything. Not transfers only. Emails, voice messages, timestamps. It's evidence he transferred funds after the breakup, even after the court directive." Christine's heart constricted. He disobeyed the law. Janelle nodded dourly. And now there's no denial. They sat by the fire, Christine plugging the drive into her laptop. The folder opened, dozens of files labeled and organized. Christine clicked one. A recorded voicemail played, Kody's voice filling the room. "Move the funds before they see it. Use the second account. I'll handle the rest. Robin doesn't need to know." The words rang out like a confession. Christine's eyes widened. Janelle clamped her mouth shut. The evidence wasn't merely monetary, it was criminal. Janelle finally spoke up. "We have to forward this to the court." Christine looked uncertain. "And Robin?" "She's already made up her mind," Janelle said. "It's time we make up ours." Christine slowly nodded, her thoughts whirling. Every picture, every memory of their family came flooding back. The meals, the laughter, the arguments, the vows. And then the reality, all of it founded on control, not love. She flipped through more files, resting at one called Final, another recording. This one was different, naked, softer. Kody's voice once again, but broken, shaking. "They'll never get it. I didn't intend to hurt them. I just wanted to prevent everything from breaking down." A pause. "But perhaps it's for the best. Perhaps I wasn't always supposed to be the hero of this tale." Christine rested back, the words seeping in. For one fleeting moment, she glimpsed the man he once was. The dreamer, the believer, the father. And she recalled the years of silence, manipulation, and suffering. "He's not a hero," she whispered. "He's the storm." Janelle's eyes flew up. "Then we end it." Christine's gaze locked with hers. "Tomorrow, in court." Rain drums sounded outside, harder and harder, as if the world itself was getting into position for an impact. The courthouse was crowded the next morning. Reporters swarmed the steps, cameras popping. The story had gone viral overnight. Every headline screamed, "Sister Wives Scandal." In the courtroom, Christine and Janelle sat together, tense but serene. Their attorney loaded the flash drive, marked only Evidence Exhibit 12. Robin sat on the other side of the aisle, ashen and shaking. She glanced toward the door, hoping, waiting for Kody to show up. He didn't. The judge came into the room, the gavel falling once. "We are here today to hear the allegations of financial impropriety brought against Kody Brown." Christine sat up straight, her hands clasped tightly together. The room was quiet, save for the patter of the rain against the windows. Then the lawyer hit play. Kody's recorded words rang through the courtroom. Each word was heard throughout the room, the transfers, the cover-ups, the lies. Robin hid behind her hands. Janelle sat stock still. Christine cried, but not with victory. She cried with sadness. For this, all of it did not have to be. At the close of the audio, the judge bent forward. "The court will meet tomorrow for final decision," he announced. "All accounts are frozen until then for review." Christine and Janelle rose to depart, the murmurs of spectators trailing behind them. When they exited, the clicks of cameras ran through the hallways. Outside, Christine stopped beneath the courthouse entrance, her eyes rising towards the gray sky. "It's over," Janelle whispered. Christine shook her head. "No, not yet." She pulled the letter, Kody's letter, from her coat pocket. The ink was smeared from the rain, but one line remained prominent. "You think you've exposed me, but there's more you don't know." Christine spoke in a whisper. "He's still keeping something back," Janelle scowled. "You think there's more?" Christine gazed out into the distance, her face inscrutable. "There always is with Kody." As thunder boomed across the sky, Christine faced the courthouse doors. Her image in the glass was different now, stronger, older, freer. Yet there was something in her eyes that suggested this was not the end. For somewhere out there, Kody Brown was still on the run. And whatever he was running from, it wasn't money. The screen darkens to black as Christine's voice whispers softly, "The truth always finds its way home." And then the last line appears on the screen in capital letters,